In this video, I'm going to demonstrate some further modifications that you can make to a chart, and I'm going to use this line chart that I've created and inserted into the summary report worksheet. And I've already done some editing. I've added the chart title and I've modified the vertical axis. Now I want to modify this horizontal axis. And you'll note that the axis labels are all of these dates, and it's really kind of cluttering up the axis, and it's hard to read as it is. What I want to do is take these dates and make them show up as just the 4-digit year, and then I want them to the major tick marks to show 2-year intervals. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the Layout tab on the Chart Tools and go to the Axes button and to Primary Horizontal Axis, and then I'm going to use my More Primary Axis Options dialog box to do all of this. So the first thing I need to do here is to change my major units to 2-year intervals, and I need to change the type of unit to years. So I'm going to click Fixed, and then I'm going to change that at the interval to 2 and the type of interval to years. And then I'm also going to change the minor unit to fixed, and I do want 1-year intervals, and so I'm going to change that unit to years as well. Then I'm going to apply a custom number format to those dates. So I'm going to click on the Number tab, and I want just the 4-digit year to show up. So the format code for that is YYYY. So I'm just going to go ahead and edit out the month and the day there. And then I'm going to click Add. That adds it to my custom formats. It's already selected, and if I look over here at my chart, I can see it's now just displaying the 4-digit years in 2-year intervals. So I'm done with my formatting on the horizontal axis, so I'm going to go ahead and close that dialog box. The next thing I want to do is do some modifications to the legend. Now I do need the legend for this chart, otherwise I won't understand what these different lines mean. So right now I'm going to go ahead and double click the legend, and you'll note that this Show the Legend Without Overlapping the Chart is clicked. And so I'm going to unclick that, and that allows the chart to expand a little bit. And then I'm going to do some modifications to the fill. So I'm going to choose Solid Fill. And I'm going to make sure that the color is white. And I'm also going to add a border color. So I'm going to click on the Border Color tab, and then I'm going to choose Solid Line. And I want to choose the standard blue for that. So I'm finished making my legend modifications. I'm going to go ahead and close. And now you'll see that there is a border around the legend. However, it's overlapping my chart, or the lines on my graph here. So I'm going to go ahead and drag the legend down to the lower right hand corner of the plot area so that my lines will show up. So now the legend shows up, and that gives me more room on my for my plot area to expand so that my graph is more representative of the actual highs and lows. The next thing I'm going to do is add vertical grid lines, and that will further enhance the readability of this chart. So I'm going to go to the Chart Tools Layout tab, to the grid lines, and I want to choose primary vertical grid lines, and I'm just going to add the minor grid lines. So you can see the minor grid lines, as we specified earlier, are appearing at 1-year intervals, and it just makes it easier to read the chart. The last thing I'm going to do is modify my vertical axis. So I'm going to double click on it, and I'm going to change the display units, and this impacts how these numbers display over here. And right now there's no display format specified. I'm going to click the down arrow, and I want to display that in thousands, since those numbers are all in the thousands. And I do not want that thousands label that just appeared to show up in my chart, so I'm going to unclick display, show display labels on chart. Then I'm going to modify the number format. And what I want to do is cause these numbers to show up with a K following them to indicate that they're thousands. So on the number format tab, I'm going to go to the format code just like we did for the dates, and I'm going to add the letter K, and since it's text, I'm going to put it in quotes. And I'll click add, and you'll notice the impact over here. And then I'm going to go ahead and close that dialog box because I'm finished with it. The last thing I want to do is add a title to this vertical axis so that it's clear to the people who are using this chart what those numbers represent. So I'm going to go again to the Layout tab. This time in the Labels group, I'm going to choose Axis Titles. And I'm going to choose Primary Vertical Axis Title, and I'm going to do a rotated title. And just like with the chart title, I can just start typing, and when I press enter, the text that I type will show up in that text box. So the title that we want for this vertical axis is Return on 10K Investment. And you can see it's kind of big. It's actually going past the length of the vertical axis, so I'm just going to quickly change the font size to remedy that. And then I'm going to click out of the chart so we can take a look at the impact of those changes. So all of the changes that I just made were to enhance this chart to make it more easily understood by anyone who uses it. The last thing I want to demonstrate on this video is the fact that you can edit your data source and have it change your chart. The chart and the data source are now linked, and so whatever changes I make to the data source will be reflected in the chart. Now right now I'm going to make some changes to this other category, and you can see that right now the other category is 3.97% of the investments. So I'm going to go to the Assets worksheet, and I'm going to click in cell A8 and then add the word Assets after Other. And then I'm going to change the amount in B8 from 3,360 million to 8,360. So I'm just going to type in the new number and enter. Then I'm going to go back to the Summary Report worksheet, and you can see now that the legend reflects that change we made to the label in the Assets worksheet. And you can also see that the Other Assets category has increased from about 4% to now about 10%.